Hi guys, I'm Charlie Book Fanatic, and this is my weekly reading vlog for week 21, in which I'm going to talk about the books I'm going to read, the books I'm currently reading, and the books I'm finishing this week. So let's start with the books I am already currently reading. And the first book I want to talk about is Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. If you want to know more about this book, I'm going to link my weekly reading vlog for last week down below, because I don't want to talk about this one a whole lot anymore. But I am going to finish this one today. I have 20 more pages left. Maybe I will do a kind of a wrap up in this video, and otherwise you will have to look out for my wrap up at the end of the month or at the beginning of next month. Or you can always read my Goodreads review if you want my overall thoughts on this in a very short, clipped review. But maybe I will talk about this more, but I already talked a lot about it in my weekly reading vlog for last week. I'm also still reading Down the Rabbit Hole by Madison, which I'm also going to finish today if all is going to plan, or otherwise I will finish it tomorrow, which is Tuesday. I didn't even tell you it was Monday today, but I'm actually starting the vlog on Monday. Like, how great is that? Anyway, I'm still reading Down the Rabbit Hole. I don't have a whole lot to say about that anymore. Maybe I will do a review, same thing as with Ugly Love, but you can always read my Goodreads review or watch my wrap up at the end of the month. We have The Knife of Never Letting Go by Ness. I am 200 pages in. I still have to read my 100 pages for the day, but I've been really busy with college assignments, and filming this is basically my break between college assignments. But I still have to read 100 pages for the day with Katie from Katie Loves to Read, which I'm doing a buddy read with. But this one I am kind of enjoying so far, still kind of neutral. I haven't made up my mind yet, but we're still really early because it's a really fat book, as you can see. So I will talk to you about this book more in the week. I'm going to finish this May 23rd, which is, I think, we're going to finish this May 27th. And then we're going to talk about it more when we finish it, but I will talk about this to you during the week, so I will let you know my thoughts. Those are the books I'm currently reading. Now I'm going to talk to you about the books I am wanting to read this week. The first book I was really looking forward to, and that's The Diviners by Libba Bray, which is the first book in the Diviners series, trilogy, duology, I don't know what it is, I think it's a trilogy. But it's a book about a girl called Evie, and it's set in the 1920s. That's all I know about it, to be honest, and I don't know, but the cover is just the one thing that really made me want to read this book, and it's quite a fat book, so I will have to start it soon if I want to finish it before the end of the month. And there's going to be another reread for me. I really feel like I have to fucking sneeze. I don't. Anyway, this is Other Places by Jennifer Niven. This is a reread for me this week. I have already reread Aristotle and Dante's Secrets of the Universe, which was one of my favourite books ever. This is another one of my favourite books ever, which I read more to the end of last year, which is 2015, and I really adored this. Like, it's a really realistic depiction of depression, at least I felt like, because I have suffered from depression, and I felt like this was just so realistic and it made me cry so much. This book made me love a book again like I haven't before. Like, I loved Aristotle and Dante and Night Film and all those other books I rave about constantly, but it was such a while since I fell in love with a book, and this one made me fall in love with a book again. The last book I'm going to read this week is the one I am most excited about, and it's a book that was raved about on BookTube so much, and it is Illuminae by Amy Kauffman and Kristoff. And this is the first book in the Illuminae trilogy, and I adore the covers for these books. Like, the second book is Gemini, I believe, and it also has such a beautiful cover, like in the same theme as this one, and I love it. Also, this book, I don't know what it is about. I know it's a science fiction. It's about like a love story, star-crossed lovers, something like that, and it's made up of these documents and chat messages and emails and things like that. Like, it's all made up of that. It's 600 pages, but I believe I can get through it so quickly because it is in like huge fonts, and also because it is these files with so little text. Like, I will take you through this fairly quickly so you can have a look at it. Like, I haven't looked at it myself very clearly, but I can see it's not text at all. Yeah, well, it is text, but it's just text messages and very short fragments. So those are the books I'm going to be reading this week. I hope you will follow me along again this week on my reading journey. So I will see you later in the week. Hi guys, I am back again. It's Tuesday. Let's talk. So I finished Ugly Love yesterday, and I said I wasn't sure I was going to talk about this more in my vlog, but I want to talk about it because I ended up bawling about this book after I ended it. Like, oh my god, this is so annoying. I ended up bawling about this book. Like, there's also a song going along with it, which is called Ugly Love by Griffin Peterson, I believe, and I thought that fit the story so well. I really love that Colleen added that to the story. Also, this book is alternated with chapters from Tate's perspective, which I really liked. I didn't particularly like Miles' perspective. It was written in a kind of a poetry way, but I didn't feel like it was poetry. It was just written in this really weird way. I'll see if I can find any of Miles' chapters while I talk about it. Oh, I already found it. Like, do you see this? This is Miles' chapter, like, and then this is kind of written in like a poetry way, but it's not really poetry, which is really weird to me. And it's kind of disconnected me from the story a little bit. I really liked Tate's chapters though, but I didn't really feel like I needed Miles' perspective in this because I felt like it didn't really add anything to the story. But I really liked Miles and Tate's love story. I really love them as a couple, and I think they really fit each other, and I feel like Miles made such huge growth throughout the book. Like, he grew so much and he became a much better person for it, and I can't wait to read another book by Colleen Hoover. I already planned to read another one, and my next read by Colleen Hoover will be Maybe Someday. And I read my 100 pages of the day for The Knife of Never Letting Go, and I am talking about it with Katie from Katie Loves to Read, and I'm not impressed with this story so far. I really like the world building. The world building is my favourite aspect of this because I love the way the story deals with hierarchies and how all of these towns are dealt with. Like, there's one particular town in this that has women have to live outside of the town and men rule the town, and women aren't even listened to, and I think it's really interesting. I don't agree with it obviously, but I think it's just a really interesting thing to think about because all these towns have a different kind of hierarchy. And I really like that. The writing style, I'm kind of neutral towards the writing style. At first I was annoyed by the phonetic dialogue, but I'm not annoyed with it anymore. It's just something to read. It reads really fast, it's fast paced, but there's a lot of action in this as well. And I'm not sure if I like it or not. Like, so much happens. This book is never at a standstill. Mostly the reason I get through this so quickly, but I'm not sure if I actually like it because there's always something happening. There's also an event in this book that I really did not agree with. Todd's dog gets mistreated so badly, and it really turned me off from this book because I am not for animal abuse, and there's so much animal abuse in this. Also, the characters, I'm still neutral towards Viola. I always want to call her Violet, but she isn't called Violet. I'm still neutral towards Viola. I don't have any particular opinion about her. Also, I really dislike Todd because of the decisions he makes and just the kind of person he is. And at this point, I'm really contemplating not picking up the sequel for this book. I will see how this ends because this is how far I'm in currently. Like, this is the ending. So we're going through this so quickly. I think we'll finish it tomorrow. Yes, we're going to finish it tomorrow, which is Wednesday. And I'll see how I like it after I finish it. And I will update you, obviously, but I am really not sure if I will pick up the sequel to The Knife of Never Letting Go. Hi guys, it's Friday today, and I wanted to talk about All the Bright Places by Jennifer Niven. So, how many pages am I actually in? Wait a minute. I am 200 pages in right now, which means I am this far, like I'm almost halfway through, and this is obviously a reread for me because I have read this before. I think I've read this before in a buddy read, like a group read, which was the first time I read it, and I loved it back then. It became one of my favourite books, which is also the reason why I bought it in a physical copy. And I want to share some of my thoughts on this right now. I haven't cried once so far in this book. I remember, but I also have to say, before I go further into this, the first time I read it was in Dutch and I loved it. Now I'm reading this in English for the first time ever. So I cried the first time at a quote in this book, which is, "You are all the colours in one at full brightness." and in Dutch it's obviously something else, but I cried at that so much, and this time I barely noticed it, and that made me sad, because I felt like I don't appreciate the beauty of this book anymore while I'm rereading it, and I feel that that is quite sad, because I am just awaiting the tragedy that is going to happen in this book. I know what is going to happen because I've read it before, and I remember this book very well, and I'm just looking out for that tragedy, and I am just terrified for it. I hope it will hit me as much as it did the first time, but I'm quite afraid because I haven't cried so far, and I did cry the first time I read this book. I also want to say I absolutely love Violet's parents, Violet is basically the female main character, and there's also Finch, who is the male main character. But I love Violet's parents. Like, actually, I almost cried at one part in the book, and it was the part where Violet's mother just showed so much interest in her daughter's personal life and in her daughter's goals, and wanted to help her take her life in the right direction again after losing her sister and obviously their daughter. But I feel like her parents are doing it the exact right way. Like, they know their parenting, they are doing it the exact right way, and I was thinking, like, I wish my parents were like that, because they weren't like Violet's parents, and Violet's parents are basically, they're not perfect, but they feel like the perfect set of parents to me, and I just wish I had those kind of parents, but I don't, and my parents aren't perfect, but they're obviously their own kind of person, but just, it made me cry quite a bit. Okay, so next I'm going to talk about Illuminae. This book has been so hyped, it's crazy. I'm 400 pages in, I have 200 more pages to go. People are not lying about this book. Like, the first bit I felt was a bit slow. I mean, I liked it, but it wasn't really action-packed, and it didn't feel like anything was going on. We were being introduced to the story, and like, the 300 page mark, like the middle of the book, it's sped up. Like, wow, I am terrified for these characters that I came to care about. I want them to escape these horrors they are facing, because what basically is happening is that these people are infected with the Phobos virus, and I don't know exactly what that is, but these people are going to show symptoms. They're going to go mad, and they're going to smash people's heads in with wrenches and axes. Even though you're not really with these characters, because it's told through all of these documents, it feels like you're there with them, like you're experiencing everything they are feeling. Amy Kauffman and Kristoff have truly created a masterpiece, in my opinion. I love this. I am so glad I started reading this, and I have been in the mood for this for so long, but I put it off, and I'm so glad I'm reading this right now. Hi guys, it is Saturday today, and I wanted to talk about Illuminae again. I am 500 pages in, I have 100 more pages to go, and then I am done with this story. Like I said yesterday, this book is an absolute masterpiece. There was a twist in this I did not see coming, and I should have, because when I looked back in the story, I was like, I should have known this. I noticed the change that happened, but I honestly, I just forgot. I put it away in my mind and I didn't think about it again. And when the reveal came, I was just shocked. I'm also starting to like Aiden, and Aiden is the artificial intelligence that is the mastermind behind the Alexander ship. There are 3 ships in this story. One is called the Copernicus, the second one is called the Hypatia, and the third one is called the Alexander. And the Alexander is basically the main ship where the artificial intelligence has free reign. And I didn't like Aiden at first because I felt like his actions weren't justified. But now, when he comes into play more, like he talks a lot more, he is a real presence in the story, I come to like him, because you really get to know his thought patterns and the way that he comes to care for our main character, and he has never cared for anyone before, and you notice that he finds it weird to care for someone, and how he deals with that, and how he does not really want to admit that he has come to care for this human, but he does. And I think it's really endearing, even though he has committed these horrible crimes. But I'm really liking this story. It's so morally grey. All of these characters in this book have committed some horrible things, but they're in a terrifying situation, and they have to survive, and they have to get themselves out of this situation. I especially like our main character, Katie. I feel like she's an excellent main character. She has some spunk, she is stubborn, she fights for what she believes in, and I really like her. Hi guys, it's Sunday today, and I'm going to wrap up the 2 books I have finished today. Overall, I have finished 5 books this week. You could have seen earlier in the video my kind of wrap-ups about the books I have read earlier this week, but I'm going to talk about All the Bright Places by Jennifer Niven and Illuminae by Amy Kauffman and J. Kristoff. So let's talk about All the Bright Places first. All the Bright Places is about a girl called Violet and a boy called Finch, and Violet meets Finch on the ledge of a bell tower. Violet is wanting to jump, she wants to commit suicide, and Finch is also standing on that ledge, and he's watching below. He is contemplating committing suicide. He's finding new ways to commit suicide, and Finch is the one who rescues Violet from the ledge, and that is how they meet and how their relationship eventually unfolds. So this was a reread for me, and I didn't like it as much as I did the first time. I rated it 4 stars, which is still a really good rating, but I rated it 5 stars the first time. And I can't explain to you why. Every time I reread a book, I feel like it underwhelms me. I feel like I shouldn't reread books anymore, because the magical feeling is not there anymore. The feelings I had the first time are not there anymore. I felt so much aching and so much pain the first time I read this, because of the tragedies that take place in this book. And I didn't cry a single tear during my reread of this, which I think is a tragedy, personally. And I enjoyed it. I still love the characters, and I loved being reunited with them, but I do think the magical feeling I felt when I read this the first time and felt like I had a new favourite book wasn't there anymore. And I have that with every single book I have reread up until now, and I really think I shouldn't reread a book anymore. But I'm going to reread a book anyway. I'm going to reread Night Film by Marisha Pessl. And if I don't like that one as much as I did the first time, I will decide for myself that I won't reread books anymore. Then, let's wrap up Illuminae. Illuminae is about a girl called Katie and a boy called Ezra, and their planet is at war. They all have to be evacuated from their planet, and they're all in these spaceships called the Copernicus, the Alexander, and the Hipparchia. Those are 3 spaceships that they are getting on, and they are being chased by a spaceship called the Lincoln, who wants to destroy all of them. I rated 5 stars. This book is my new favourite book of the entire year so far. I am so happy I read it, and I can't believe I hesitated in reading this, because I've been wanting to read this for months now, and I never did because there was so much hype around this, and normally I'm not really into the popular books, but this one was great. This was a great science fiction novel. I'm not a huge sci-fi reader, but I'm so happy I read this, and I honestly cannot wait for the sequel, Gemini. I love the characters. I think my favourite character in this was Katie, who you see for most of the book, but also Aiden, who is the artificial intelligence in this book, who is not even a person. It is obviously a computer. And I love the dynamics between Katie and Aiden. I'm not going to say much more about that, because the dynamics will become clear more to the end of the book, because Katie and Aiden literally meet then. But this book is all about Katie and Ezra and their love story, and if they will get back together, because Ezra is on the Alexander and Katie is on the Hipparchia, so they're both on different spaceships. They can't see each other. They're exes, by the way. They broke up, and Ezra is the one that looks for contact with Katie through emails at the beginning of the book, and that is how they start speaking again, because they didn't want to speak to each other after they broke up. Specifically, Katie didn't want to speak to Ezra after they broke up. I love this. I really want to read Amy Kaufman's other series. I don't know what it's called, but I know the first book is called These Broken Stars. The writing style, everything, the formatting, I love it all. I just have to say, there were specific kind of pages in this that occurred more than once that I really did not like. I'm going to see if I can find it quickly. But you have to rotate the book to read these pages, and I'm not a huge fan of that. I mean, these type of pages, like this is text. And you have to start reading here, and you have to follow this, and then it goes on onto the second page, and you have to rotate the book to read it. And that was on multiple pages throughout this book, and that was the one thing I really did not like. I don't like rotating my books to have to read them, and I was always sighing when one of those pages came up. But the formatting was really lovely furthermore, and I adore this. This is my weekly reading vlog for week 21. I hope you enjoyed watching this. I think this one is going to be a bit longer, but anyway, thank you for watching. Goodbye.